everyone, my name is Azura Yuliananda as presenter in this video. This video presented for International Conference on Business, Education, Innovation and Social Sciences 2022. In this video, I would like to present you a study with title Simultaneous Relationship between CEO Narcissism and Financial Distress with Empirical Evidence from Manufacturing Firms in Indonesia. Written by Azura Yuliananda and Cynthia Afriani Utama from Faculty of Economics and Business, Master of Management Program, Universitas Indonesia, Jakarta, Indonesia. This is the outline of my presentation today. First of all, I begin from research and background objective from my study, and then I will explain the study with a literature review, research and methodology, result and discussion, and finally, I will provide conclusion and research limitations. The background of the research starts from financial distress. The financial distress is a different situation from bankruptcy. Financial distress is a period of decline in the financial condition of a company that occurred before the company went bankrupt or entered the liquidation phase. Companies that are experiencing financial distress conditions should be identified immediately in order to reduce the domino effect of financial risk. The Chief Executive Officer or CEO is an individual party from a company in the form of a company that has the authority and is fully responsible for the management of the company, in accordance with the objectives and representing the company for the benefit of the company. Theories related to the influence of upper echelons theory argues that the individual characteristics of executives in the form of experiences, values, and personalities greatly influence their interpretation of the situations they face and ultimately influence their choices. The existence of the CEO's impact and how important the CEO is to the company has been widely studied by academics. One of the causes of the emergence of financial distress within the company is the influence of the behavior of the board of directors, especially the chief executive officer, in making decisions, because the decisions affect the company's strategic actions, which will have an impact on company performance. One of the characteristics of CEOs that is widely associated with company performance is CEO narcissism. Narcissists rate themselves highly or overconfident on various dimensions, including intelligence, creativity, competence, and leadership ability. Thus, narcissists are overconfident about their abilities in the text domain to the point of being objectively overconfident. Company leaders who have a narcissistic personality, based on previous research, have shown that many have a bad impact on the company. Incidents that occurred in the world's big companies such as Enron, WorldCom, and Tyco Incorporate experienced scandals and bankruptcy due to narcissistic CEO of these companies. CEO narcissism is also related to corporate risk-taking, wherein narcissism CEOs in small or compensated companies will take more risks, while on the other hand, narcissism CEOs in large companies will protect the status quo and are reluctant to take new risks. Some of the impact of losses with the CEO narcissism can cause the company's financial distress condition, where this condition arises in the company when the company loses its normal function due to internal factors related to personal characteristics of CEO narcissism. But the other side, CEO narcissism can have a good impact on the company. Psychological literature shows that under certain conditions, a person who has a narcissistic personality can become a desirable trait in leaders. In a historical review of the leadership of someone who is narcissistic, it is stated that the narcissistic personality develops in a time that demands the formation of a new order, and the self-confidence and dominance of the narcissist individual can inspire followers who are very idealistic. Several studies have also found that narcissistic CEOs have higher earnings per share and share prices than companies with non-narcissistic CEOs. Other studies have also found a positive relationship between CEO narcissism and strategic dynamism and big wins, as well as the number and size of acquisitions, which lead to extreme and fluctuating organizational performance. Some of these studies show that CEO narcissism has a positive impact that can improve company performance. My research objectives in this study is to investigate whether there is a relationship between CEO narcissism and corporate financial distress, and also to investigate whether there is a relationship between corporate financial distress and CEO narcissism. This study also have done some literature review related to the research topic. First, from Chubari et al. In 2020 that stated direct and significant relationship to the high emotional cognitive bias of managers with narcissism, prejudice, and financial distress, where the higher the emotional cognitive bias of managers, the more financial difficulties that will arise in the company. And then from Salih et al. In 2020 that stated the narcissism of the CEO and the board of the directors has a positive and significant effect on corporate risk-taking, and manager overconfidence has a positive and significant relationship with corporate risk-taking. And then from Abo et al. In 2019 that stated the relationship between CEO narcissism and corporate risk-taking, where the CEO narcissism in small companies will take more risks, while on the contrary, CEO narcissism in large companies will protect the status quo and are reluctant to take new risks. And then from Perez in 2017 that stated companies that experienced financial distress in the previous period increase CEO narcissism. This is done to improve the company's performance in the future, and it is proven that there is a positive and significant effect that individuals with high narcissism scores provide benefits to the company's short-term performance. And the last, from Chatterjee and Hambrick in 2007 that state positive relationship between CEO narcissism with strategic dynamism and big wins, as well as the number and size of acquisitions, which lead to extreme and fluctuating organizational performance. Furthermore, the research methodology used in this study is a quantitative method and using secondary data from annual reports and financial statements of manufacturing companies in Indonesia from 2016 until 2019 period. The number of samples of manufacturing companies used is 91 companies per year with a total data of 364 samples. The data sources are obtained from the Indonesia Stock Exchange, the company's official website, and Thomson Reuters. The sampling criteria are listed manufacturing sector companies during 2016 until 2019 period, which are listed on the Indonesia Stock Exchange and provide complete information on the company's annual financial reports consistently. Next, this is the research framework used in this study. Distress and CEO narcissism as endogenous variables, while firm size, leverage, return on equity, return on assets, earning per share, and sales growth variables are exogenous variables. The data tested in the study were analyzed using the simultaneous equation model and processed through the regression method with two-stage least square. In the simultaneous equation model, there is an interdependence relationship between variables where not only the x variable can affect the y variable, but also the y variable can affect the x variable, so that in the model there is a two-way relationship. In the first model, the engineered variable is distressed using the Altman Z-score proxy. For the exogenous variables is CO narcissism with the CO picture proxy using the narcissism tendency indicator through 5 narcissism indicators on CO photos in the company's annual report. And then the other exogenous variables are firm size that calculated from the logarithm of market capitalization, and leverage is calculated from total liabilities compared to total assets, and return on equity is calculated from net profit compared to total equity. In the second model, the endogenous variables is CEO narcissism with the CEO picture proxy using the narcissism tendency indicator through 5 narcissism indicators on the CEO's photo in the company's annual report. And the exogenous variables is distress using the Altman Z-score proxy. Then the other exogenous variables is return on assets is calculated from net profit compared to total assets, earning per share calculated from net profit compared to the average shares outstanding, and sales growth is calculated from the difference between current and last year's sales compared to the last year's sales. The following is the result of two-stage least square, where in the first model, CEO picture has a positively and significant impact on financial distress, which is significantly below 5%. This is contradictory and not in accordance with the hypothesis. And firm size has a positively significant impact on financial distress, which is significantly below 1%. And based on the results of the Hausman test for endogeneity test, the simultaneous equation between CO picture to financial distress, there is a simultaneous problem because the significance is below 1%. And based on the results of the Sargan test for offer identification test, the simultaneous equation of CEO narcissism to financial distress, it indicates that the instrument used is valid. And last, based on the results of the F-test on the simultaneous equation of CEO narcissism with the proxy CEO picture on financial distress, it was found that all independent variables in the 4 equation models jointly affect the dependent variable. And in the second model, financial distress in the previous year had a negative but not significant impact on CEO picture, where it was significantly more than 10%. This is appropriate but cannot prove the hypothesis. Based on the results of the Hausman test for endogeneity test on the financial distress simultaneous equation in the previous year to CEO picture, there are no simultaneous problems. And for based on the results of the Hausman test for offer identification test, the simultaneous equation between financial distress to CO picture, there is a simultaneous problems because the significance is below 1%. And based on the results of the F-test on the simultaneous equation of financial distress on CO narcissism with the proxy CO picture, it was found that all independent variables in the 4 equation models jointly affect the dependent variable. This study found that CEO narcissism through CEO picture proxy can influence financial distress with Discord proxy. The results that CEO narcissism can impact financial distress are contrary to previous research, where in previous research by Chubari et al. In 2020 state that when CEOs have a high level of narcissism, it will affect the company's high financial distress, while the results of the statistical output that have been described previously are known that when the CEO has a high level of narcissism, the company will increasingly avoid the risks of financial distress. On the other hand, the company's financial distress in the previous year had a negative but not significant impact on CEO narcissism in the company. Financial distress in the previous year was not proven to affect CEO narcissism. This cannot be proven from previous research by Perez in 2017 state when a company in the previous period experienced financial distress, it would increase CEO narcissism, which would improve the company's distress condition with its overconfidence characteristics in decision making. The conclusion of this study: the influence of CEOs who have a high level of narcissism in the company can affect the company's financial distress. Although the results of the research statistics are not in line with expectations, it is known that the higher the level of CEO narcissism, the more companies will avoid financial distress. This is because the overconfidence of the CEO of narcissism can improve the company's performance with a positive impact on its characteristics. And companies that have experienced financial distress in the previous period do not have a significant effect on increasing CEO narcissism, so that companies do not need to consider the presence of CEOs with high narcissism in companies that have experienced financial distress to improve company performance if the CEO narcissism characteristics are the main focus. This study has limitations. This study has not used all companies listed on the Indonesian Stock Exchange as it's only limited to the manufacturing sector. Research is limited to the companies that publish complete annual reports, while many companies do not publish complete annual reports. In addition, the research period is still relatively short. And the study only used one proxy for the CEO narcissism variable using CEO picture and one proxy for the company's financial distress using the Altman score, so that in the research results there are still data anomalies. And the last, this study has not used CEO characteristics in research models such as tenure, age, and gender of CEO. This is the end of this presentation. Thank you for the opportunity, for the attention. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.